Just Crickmore here, and if you remember from my Ranking the Floor Guardians video of Overlord I made a while ago, I had teased this concept with Kurumi, and it's about time I finally get around to it, so here we are. This is that video, finally. How Kurumi can beat 98% of the anime universe, and then the videos that follow this one will be Kurumi, what if, big what if she entered this anime, or that anime. And that's where I need you guys is input. Which ones do you want to see? Now, of course, for this to work, it has to be anime that I've personally seen. But because I keep watching anime all the time, my library keeps growing. It's all a matter of, well, picking. Just tell me. If it's something I haven't seen yet, then I'll put it on my watch list and we'll work from there. But let's get into how she can. I say 98% and we'll get into why later. First of all, she is from this anime called Date A Live. Date Alive, Date A Live, whatever. And she's the most popular character of the show. Obviously, why else would I be doing this video? Let's get into my first point. Number one, she has never died in her own show. Never. In fact, it's the opposite. She kills other people. And we'll get into those later. People could argue, if Data Live fans will obviously argue, but she died there and there. I'm like, hold on, we're only just getting started. I'm talking about the original Kurumi, the one that counts as Kurumi. We good? Okay, moving on to number two. Number two, her angel Zafkiel, her power. I wouldn't be making this video if it weren't for her power, her ability, Zafkiel. And no, I'm not going to get into Queen. I'm not going to get into the inverse. Kurumi, Data Bullet. No. Kurumi, said by Queen herself, she abandoned that power. Kurumi abandoned that power. We're going to ignore that for now. We're not even using Queen. We're using Zafkiel. Good, good. Now, the appearance of Zafkiel, as you'll see, is a giant clock that appears behind Kurumi. But to use Zafkiel's abilities, you need her guns. Her amazing flintlock guns. Well, she has two. A big one and a small one. They require Kurumi to have a way of using them, because the way you use Zafkiel's ability is they take the form of bullets. And to be able to use a bullet, what do you need? A gun to fire it. Now, Zafkiel has 12 bullets. I'm going to go into all of their abilities now. First Bullet Aleph accelerates external time. So, like, in layman's terms, Aleph equals the fast forward button on a remote. The second bullet, Bet, slows down external time. So like slow motion. As you'll see, these bullets are like, they come in pairs. The abilities are like opposites of each other. Third Bullet Gimmel speeds up internal time. Like aging. Like it ages whatever the bullet touches. The fourth Bullet Dalet rewinds time on a target. However, there's a drawback to Dalet. It cannot resurrect the dead. I had to make that perfectly clear. Fifth Bullet Hei allows her to glimpse into the future. And sixth Bullet Vav sends consciousness of target to a past version of itself. And the sixth bullet is different than the 10th bullet, which we'll get into in a little bit, because the sixth only allows a few days backwards in time at most, and it only sends the consciousness, not the body. Seventh Bullet Zayin, or as you might know it as if you're a certain other anime fan, Zawado, is basically Zayin. Seventh Bullet Zayin temporarily freezes target's time. So it's I guess a smaller field than the world, if we're going to put it that way. Oh, whatever. It's there. Eighth Bullet Het creates temporal clone of target. And remember, she can use all 12 of these bullets on herself. So the 8th bullet is going to come back later. 9th bullet, Tet, allows Kurumi to share senses with someone in a different time or dimension. Like, the example would be when she sent Shido back in time in Season 3, and Shido had to talk to the past Kurumi to get past Kurumi to use Yod Bet, which is the 12th bullet, to send him back. The Kurumi in the present used Tet's ability to talk to her past self through Shido. The 10th bullet, Yod, peeks into the past of any object struck, so it's like it can read people's memories. The 11th bullet, Yod Aleph, sends target to the future, and the 12th bullet, Yod Bet, sends the target to the past. But when the bullet wears off, in the case of 11 and 12, the users are sent back to their original time period. But because of Yod Bet and its ability to send someone to the past, Kurumi said this herself. Her ability is absolute mastery over time. Any changes made by Yod Bet, or lack thereof of changes, were destined to happen regardless. Because that is her power, Yod Bet. And when it means, when the bullet wears off, the target will be sent to the original time period. If changes were made to the timeline like Shido did, then he'll wake up in an altered future because Yod Bet is absolute. Any changes you make with the 12th bullet in play are absolute. Now that we got that out of the way, her angel is powerful, as we've made it clear with those 12 bullets of hers. But each time she uses one of her abilities, it uses up time, aka her life force. That's why she has a clock in her right eye. No, her left eye. That's why it's a clock. That clock keeps track of her time, aka her life force. To replenish her life force, she has the unique ability to absorb the time of anyone who steps on her shadow, which basically means, but to take someone else's time, it's aka killing them. Which has led to her getting the nickname Nightmare and, all the people she's killed. It's basically to replenish her own ability. And let's be real, it's not like she enjoys it as much as we think she does. And she also has this ability to, if she wants to cover a large area of people at once, she has this red barrier called, and I quote, City of Devouring Time, or if you watch the dub, Time-Eating Castle. I swear, Time-Eating Castle sounds so much better than City of Devouring Time. Time-Eating Castle. Doesn't that sound like a terrifying ability? The Time-Eating Castle. Her shadow, number 3. Her shadow. That's right, her shadow. She can use shadows as fast travel, and the territory in her own shadow acts as a pocket dimension. And that in of itself is already pretty broken if you compare it to other anime that I'm going to use Kurumi as, like, the what-ifs. Her shadow to escape. There are so many anime where there are tons of shadows, which means she basically has, like, free reign over that territory. And number 4, her final ability I'm going to talk about is her clones. Because when you talk about Kurumi, we're talking about doppelgangers, clones, past selves, whatever. They're all the same thing. Combined with the 8th bullet, I told you the 8th bullet was going to come in handy. The 8th bullet, Het. She can make clones of herself. Because you got to remember, she can use all 12 of the bullets on anything the bullet hits. That includes herself. Now, because of how many times she's used the 8th bullet, and all the times she's replenished her time by killing people, it would only make sense she would have a large army. But then again, each bullet takes up less life force depending on the bullet. She's even gone on statement saying, if I were to use the 11th and 12th bullets, it could cost me all my remaining life force. Yet she used Yod Bet, 3 times and she's still alive? Okay. Maybe it's when you use 11 and 12, but I'm guessing 11 and 12 cost a lot of her time. Yet she used it 3 times. She used Yodbet with origami, she used it with Shido, and then her past self used it with Shido again. And that's not even on top of the fact that maybe she used it herself. Whatever. That's besides the point. Let's get back to her clones, her doppelgangers, her past selves. All the clones Kurumi makes of herself have all her experiences, all her memories, all her abilities, the use of her guns, and the use of the time-eating castle. The only difference is that they're not the original Kurumi. Simple as that. So the situation would be like, you think it's the real Kurumi, but then you turn around and Kurumi kills herself. And I know that sounds weird. Trust me, it's Kurumi. It makes sense. Like that moment in Season 1 when Shido was getting through to Kurumi, because this version of Kurumi genuinely loves Shido. The real Kurumi's like, can't let you do that. You can't disobey the original, and then the original kills her. But then she somehow lived, and then the original had to kill her again, and then date a Bullet. But I'm getting off on a tangent. What I'm saying is, she can... The doubles, the doppelgangers, the clones, they can take the place of the real Kurumi in a last-ditch effort for her life. Like, remember when we heard Mana killed Kurumi in Season 1, but then she showed up at school again the next day? Yeah! The Kurumi that Mana killed was a clone, a doppelganger, not the real Kurumi. And when a doppelganger or a clone of Kurumi dies, they become shadows, and they return to the original Kurumi. So it's like she's losing nothing. And she has her own army. Nice. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I said 98% and not 100%. I am not exaggerating. I mean it when I say 98%. There are anime, though, where characters have surpassed Kurumi's ability over time. Like, I don't know, I've been mentioning JoJo's Bizarre Adventure this whole time with The World, Star Platinum, characters, King Crimson, the Killer Queen Bites the Dust. Like, any stand ability that can surpass Gold Experience Requiem. And then there are other anime where there are characters powerful enough to surpass the limits of time. Look at Goku. Hits time skip. Goku was able to surpass it. Same with Jiren. One Punch Man. Well, that's One Punch Man. Characters in Naruto. Etc., etc. That's why I said 98%, not 100%. And, for the record, the anime I mentioned that Kurumi cannot stand a chance in, no matter what, I will not be putting Kurumi into those anime. So don't you dare request JoJo's, Dragon Ball, Naruto, or One Punch Man. Don't you dare request those. I will pretend I didn't see that. However, those fall into the minority of anime that exist. Hence, the 98% that I put in the title. But I bet you're asking this question right now. Why is she so overpowered yet so overlooked? Like, people say, we're probably asking that question right now. Why is she so overpowered yet she's so overrated and no one talks about her? First of all, the anime she's from, Data Live, Data Live, how do I put this? It's one of those harem anime. That's right. So, maybe they don't take it seriously enough to consider it. But when you think about it, though, Kurumi is powerful. After everything I told you, plus her twisted sense of justice and her psychotic personality that goes with that sense of justice and everything, she is deadly. You ever hear the song Sweet But Psycho? Has anyone ever heard of the song Sweet But Psycho? That sums up Kurumi Tokisaki in a nutshell. Not even gonna lie. It's also a very obscure anime. It's like put in the corner, and it's overshadowed by To Love Ru and High School DxD and Rosario Vampire and that corner. Data Live is like trapped in that corner of anime history and that corner of the anime world. because of the other girls and the other moments in the anime, that it's not as popular as Dragon Ball or Naruto or One Piece. It's just, that's the sad truth of the matter. But now that we've reached the end of the video, I hope I've convinced people that Kurumi Tokisaki is deadly, is a real threat, is powerful, and I can't wait for people's suggestions on what anime I should put her into and how she would fare against the characters, weapons, abilities of those anime universes, to see if Kurumi could obliterate that anime universe or if the anime universe could obliterate her. Join me next time where we will dive into those very topics. But I don't have any one anime set in mind for now. You'll see when the time comes. In the meantime, cue the outro. And remember, like at the end of the video, I'll say it again, but I'll do it right now. To hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the video with your friends, and I will see you all in my future. All in over my future. If you want to enjoy my content,